Good morning, India. Good morning, humanity. Let me speak human. Let me ask a simple question. What is your politics, comrade? Dare you to stand for humanity? Here you are. I am not a writer as much as reputed to get any award. I have been though writing in Hindi, English and Bengali, and I have been associated with apolitical journalistic activism for at least 4 decades, right from 1973 when I went to Nainital and admitted in GIC Nainital, and my Guruji Tarachand Tripathi trained me with vision. Since then, I had been active. While I passed my MA in 1979, one of my English teacher, Mrs. Madhulika Dixit, advised me, people are employed, people are engaged to do welfare for his family, for his kith and kin. You have to do something different. You can get job, but try something different. And I have been trying exactly that, because I dare not to disobey my teachers, and it is all about my life. I have been trying to address public grievances since my school days. I was born in a refugee colony in Basantipur in Udham Singh Nagar district, erstwhile Nainital district, and it is known the Tarai of Nainital. We Bengali and Sikh refugees were resettled side by side, and I am lucky that the Bengalis loved me, and the Sikhs also loved me, and the Himalayan people also loved me, and those resettled freedom fighters from Eastern UP, they also loved me. And hence I speak the language of love. And I know the Sikhs, they have been reading with me from my primary school to DSB Nainital College. I loved Punjab, and the mother of Shahida Azam Bhagat Singh visited my home way back in 1969, and I always expected that Punjab should lead Indian people, because Punjab and Bengal and Maharashtra, these three states had been very active during the struggle for freedom in India. I was glad that three Punjabi writers, three eminent writers from Punjab, returned Sahitya Academy Awards, and I again say thanks to Uday Prakash for his initiative. He is a Hindi poet, and I had been writing in Hindi also beside English and Bengali, and I have been associated with Hindi since my birth. I am proud of you, my friend Uday Prakash. But Punjab always does something different here. It was a hat trick yesterday. 3 eminent writers from Punjab returned Sahitya Academy. And no, it is confirmed, determined no, writers, poets and artists might not be enslaved. Do you hear, Mr. Prime Minister? Do you hear, Mr. Minister of Culture Affairs, who breaking his silence over the unprecedented number of resignation streaming into Sahitya Academy following the Dadri beef killing. The Culture Minister Mahesh Sharma told Economic Times that it was a fair choice if any individual literary or poet choose to resign due to their ideology. And unfazed Sharma, who is also the local MP for Dadri, felt this was not the right course to take, making the point that there were other methods to register a protest. He said, it is the fair choice of a literary person to resign if people due to their ideology are taking up their methods of resigning their registering their protest. I do not wish to comment on their choice. However, I would suggest that they are over. There are other methods. Well, they can write about these issues to the Prime Minister, Chief Minister, or also the Sahitya Academy. They can also go on dharna. And Sahitya Academy President Vishwanath Tiwari, with his ridiculous logic, wants to deprive the awarded personalities of Indian intelligentsia of their fundamental rights to oppose this religious politics of partition against our legacy of inherent pluralism and diversity, all on the name of autonomy. Mind you, creativity might not be linked to any hegemony or institution. I wonder how such a critic, Mr. Tiwari, has to judge the qualities of literary works for which Mr. Tiwari is most reputed, and he leads the progressive, democratic, secular front led by the leftist writers and poets. My friends from Delhi told me that the left is not vocal enough just because Sahitya Academy president belongs to their camp. Okay, I don't mind. The left is known for committing Himalayan blunders, and they fail to stand for humanity once again. It does not surprise me, and it is the reality of ground zero that the left has been marginalized for all these Himalayan blunders, and the communist movement, the leftist movement, the democratic and secular movement is undermined by our communist leaders. They just issue the statement from Politburo in New Delhi or demonstrate in comfort zones in New Delhi and state capitals, but they are not anywhere on the ground. Bengal Civic Pulse have proved more than enough what would be happening in 1916 assembly elections. The left would be wiped out because the left is not at all concerned. And I wonder, the left has not taken a stand at all. And the man representing the left, democratic and secular forces and heading the Sahitya Academy, the institution to represent the wellness and the enhancement of Indian literary and cultural scenario is so much so detached, so much so apathy. He declares that I am ashamed to say myself a progressive, democratic and secular person. I am ashamed to say myself as a person engaged in writing or engaged in journalistic activism. Well, the latest turnaround by Mr. B.P. Tiwari, the Sahitya Academy president, is quite amusing. He is pained by allegations of silence, says Sahitya Academy chief B.P. Tiwari. The Sahitya Academy on Sunday reacted to a string of resignation by writers by saying that their allegations of its silence has pained the Academy and that it stands for the secular principles enshrined in Indian Constitution. The Academy, condemning the attacks on writers, has said that it believes in the golden principle of right to life for all. We wish to emphasize that the Academy stands for freedom of expression of all writers, irrespective of caste, color, creed, and nationality. We urge the writers to protect the dignity of the institution, Academy President Vishwanath Prasad Tiwari said. He was talking about the autonomy and he was defending the governance of finance, the governance of fascism, and he was asking the hisab kitab of the reputation which he believed that the literary persons and intellectuals received with their award. And he also raised the question about the books published, translated by Sahitya Academy in different languages, while Ashok Bajpai and Uday Prakash and Nayantara Sahgal returned the Academy Awards. Now, at least 15 scholars countrywide have quit or returned their awards in protest against Kalburgi murder and Dadri lynching, and the Academy president is now saying that the writers and intellectuals should protect their dignity. What is the dignity? Is that dignity against the nature? Is that dignity against the human cause? As that dignity is against citizenship, civic rights and human rights? And I am told from New Delhi by my intimate friends that the Hindi writers did not follow Uday Prakash and Ashok Bajpai because they took the initiative. What a politics, my comrades. I wonder, are you protesting the governance of fascism? Are you protesting the killings? Are you standing for humanity and nature, or you are just limited in your petty politics, and you are just opposing Mr. Uday Prakash or Ashok Bajpai. Is it that? What is your politics, partner? Now, three eminent writers from Punjab returned Sahitya Akademi Awards. As a renowned Punjabi playwright, Alak said he was very pained by attacks on progressive writers, leaders of rational movement, and forcible patronization of education and culture. During recent past, the attempts at disrupting the social fabric of the country, targeting particularly the areas of literature and culture under an orchestrated plan of action, has been perturbing me, Bhullar said. Upset over Kalburgi killing, Kannada writer Arvind Malagatti resigns from Sahitya Akademi. Poet Sachidanand quits Sahitya Akademi post over M.M. Kalburgi's murder. Now writer Shashi Deshpande quits Sahitya Akademi. Silence a form of abatement, stage for memories for prize moments. Voice of Malwa Anki bid final farewell by literati. Upset over Kalburgi killing, Kannada writer Arvind Malagatti resigns from Sahitya Akademi. The 70-year-old author born in Bhatinda in Punjab had been awarded Sahitya Akademi for his 2005 book of short story Agni Colors. A renowned Punjabi playwright Alak said he was very pained by the attacks on progressive writers, leaders of the rational movement, and the forcible patronization of education and culture. Hindi writer Uday Prakash, Nayantara Sahgal, poet Ashok Bajpai, Sara Joseph, Urdu writer Rahman Abbas have also written their awards recently, protesting the Academy's silence on the murder of fellow writer and Sahitya Akademi board members M.M. Kalburgi, as well as against the communal atmosphere in backdrop of the Dadri lynching incident. Malayalam poet K. Sachidanandan has also decided to quit all posts in Academy, while another Malayalam short story writer P.K. Parakadavu also said he will quit the Academy membership. Renowned Punjabi theatre personality Atmajit Singh today said he was returning his Academy awards as he is very upset over the incidents communal hatred in the country for last some months. Meanwhile, poet and critic Adil Jiswala, who won the Sahitya Akademi honor for his 2014 work, today urged the literary body to condemn the unacceptable censoring of writers by violently intolerant groups. Now, look. I am going to the roundup. Gujarati-based writer Ganesh Devi and 5 others eminent writers on Sunday decided to return their Sahitya Akademi awards, while Kannada writer Arvind Malagatti resigned. Devi, who hails from Barodara, the land of Prime Minister Modi, and I believe that he should break his silence on this pre-planned beef ban episode, pre-planned jihad against democratic and secular forces and the democracy itself, the republic itself, the religious partisan targeting the Bihar voters to polarize religiously Bihar voters to win Bihar assembly election, which goes in to elections today only. It is not election. I have told that democracy is reduced to farce as it happened in Bengal civic polls. It was unprecedented violence, and in Bihar it is unprecedented caste war, identity war. It is not about anything of representation of the people. It is the representation from identities and caste groups, caste alliances. The muscle power and money power will win the election for about this or that alliance of caste. That's it. And you are vertically dividing the country on the name of religious blind nationalism, and that religious blind nationalism is attacking every innocent person in India who is doubted to be having beef in his fridge, or even the Hindus who are the Chamars and low caste origin who earn livelihood for dead cattle's skin. They are being attacked also. As Muslims are attacked, the Hindus are attacked, and Hindus are also being, and riots are fled of countrywide, and I welcome the intelligentsia to voice the conscience of the nation. And at the same time, I am very, very disappointed about Bengal, Karnataka and Maharashtra. The Bengali intelligentsia, Kannada intelligentsia, one of them, Mr. Girish Karnad, who is equally renowned and equally respected in the fields of art and literature. He is one of the most prominent dramatist, playwright. He is our elegant artist of cinema, the parallel cinema which linked Indian cinema to the genre of resistance. Girish Karnad had been the face of that, and Girish Karnad won Sahitya Academy Award also, and Girish Karnad is silent. It pains me. I am sending every write-up, every update to Mr. Girish Karnad, and I have not got any response at all. I am stand to see the apathy of Indian cinema, the Bollywood people, including the secular personalities there, Mr. Mahesh Bhatt, Mr. Javed Akhtar, and others. I am disappointed to see the land of Baba Sahib, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who fought most violently against this resurrection of Hindutva, against the caste system, who had the agenda of annihilation of caste. Only the Urdu writer has written the Sahitya Academy Award, not anyone else, not any Marathi writer. They are vertically divided in Hindutva and Islam. And in Bengal, our intelligentsia has been vertically divided in CPIM and TMC, and some of them also joined the saffron camp. And the Bangla Daily এই সময় wrote very correctly, I have to read it out. It blasts the silence of Bengali intelligentsia. কলবার্গি থেকে 1 লাখ ডানপন্থী চোখ রাঙানির বিরুদ্ধে সোচ্চার কাশ্মীর থেকে কন্যাকুমারী, অসহিষ্ণুতার শেষ চাইছে দেশ, বাংলা নিরুত্তা। প্রতিবাদ কি ভুলেই গেল কলকাতা? Joy Saha from Times Group has written this article that Bengal has forgot the language of conscience. Bengal has forget the language of protest, the language of resistance. I expressed my gladness recently while the processions returned to the city of procession, the city of joy, and now I am disappointed, and I share the disappointment expressed by a Bengali journalist. শুধুমাত্র বাড়িতে গোমাংস রেখেছেন এই সন্দেহে একজন সাধারণ দেশবাসীকে হত্যা করা হয়েছে। হত্যা করা হচ্ছে বুদ্ধিজীবীদের। প্রতিবাদে সাহিত্য একাডেমি পুরস্কার ফেরত দিয়েছেন অনেকেই, দিল্লি, কেরল, এমনকি গুজরাটের নামজাদা সাহিত্যিকরা সামিল হয়েছেন প্রতিবাদে। কিন্তু এই প্রতিবাদের স্রোতে এখনো গা ভাসাতে খানিকটা সংকোচ। প্রতিবাদ নগরী হিসেবে খ্যাত কলকাতা কারণে অকারণে শত প্রবৃত্ত হয়ে বিবৃতি দেওয়া যে শহরের বুদ্ধিজীবীদের অভ্যাস, সেই শহরে কোনো প্রতিবাদ তো কেউ করেনি। এমনকি তাদের যখন জিজ্ঞাসা করা হয়েছে পুরস্কার ফেরতের সিদ্ধান্তের কথা, নিন্দাসূচক মন্তব্য জানিয়েও সেই প্রসঙ্গ এড়িয়ে যাচ্ছেন সকলে। রবিবার এই সময় সংবাদপত্রের তরফে এ রাজ্যের বুদ্ধিজীবীদের কাছে দাদ্রি হত্যা ও যুক্তিবাদী লেখকদের হত্যা নিয়ে প্রতিক্রিয়া চাওয়া হয়েছিল। তাদের প্রশ্ন করা হয়েছিল প্রতিবাদে তারা কি রাষ্ট্রীয় সম্মান এবং পুরস্কার ত্যাগ করতে চান। ঘটনা হলো সাম্প্রতিককালে তৃণমূলের সন্ত্রাসের বিরুদ্ধে এই নাগরিকদের যতটা আগ্রাসী ভূমিকায় দেখা গিয়েছে তার লেশমাত্র পাওয়া যায়নি। এদিন নির্লিপ্ত থেকেছে কলকাতা, অথচ এ শহর দেখেছে নন্দীগ্রাম গণহত্যার প্রতিবাদে কিভাবে বঙ্কিম পুরস্কার সহ রাজ্য সরকারের সব সম্মান ফেরত দিয়েছিল নবারুণ ভট্টাচার্য। নবারুণ ভট্টাচার্য returned all prizes awarded by the government of West Bengal in protest of Nandigram genocide. Nabarun Bhattacharya has left us, Viren Dangwal has left us, but we have to continue the fight. দাদরি ও সাহিত্য একাডেমি পুরস্কার ফেরত প্রসঙ্গে কে কি বলেছেন? 1974 সালে উলঙ্গ রাজার জন্য সাহিত্য একাডেমি পুরস্কার পাওয়া কবি নীরেন্দ্রনাথ চক্রবর্তী, who wrote The Naked King. He is not thinking to return the Academy Award, and he said, দাদরির মতো ঘটনা নারকীয়। যারা এ ধরনের কাজ করেন তারা অপরের গণতন্ত্রে বিশ্বাস করেন না, কেবল নিজেদের কথা জোর করে চাপিয়ে দিতে চান। তবে আমি পুরস্কার ফেরত দেওয়ার কথা এখনো কিছু ভাবিনি। He has not decided. What is about decision? You have to take a clear stand, my friend. Citizenship suspended, human rights suspended, civic rights suspended, humanity attacked every day, and you have not taken a decision, is it? And you have wrote the famous poet, The Naked King. The king is naked and nobody dares to speak out, and the king is naked, and the poet has not decided whether he should speak or not to speak. He said, কারণ পুরস্কার ফেরত দিতে হাত গুটিয়ে বসে থাকার চেয়ে বিষয়টি নিয়ে চেনা পরিচিতের মধ্যে প্রতিবাদ মানসিকতা তৈরি করাটাই আমি শ্রেয় বলে মনে করি। He does not intend to return the award, but he is trying to mobilizing his friends. Funny. What type of mobilization you are thinking? What type of resistance you are thinking? As our leftist friends think, as they have opted for, they could not protest the economic reforms. They could not protest the neoliberal genre of ethnic cleansing. They are also thinking, they are pondering over, and almost 24 years passed since Indian production system has been devastated and left as all the trade unions. They have got all the forums, they have got 5 crore membership of Kisan Sabha, and the farmers are committing suicide, and they could not mobilize a farmers movement, they could not mobilize a peasants uprising in India against the genocide and ethnic cleansing of agrarian communities. They could not protest the mass killing of the workers, the tea gardens, the jute mills closed. They could not protest. They could not protest all the sectors being disinvested, privatized. They could not protest total privatization, total disinvestment, total FDI mafia syndicate Raj, because they have to share the power with the ruling hegemony, and those comrade general secretaries have been engaged in power brokering. I must speak out because I am not concerned about political correction, because I am not a politician at all. And the writers, the scholars who have quit or returned their awards in protest against Kalvargi murder and Dadri lynching, all of them are apolitical, mind you. They stand for humanity, for which our comrades refuse to stand. And the Bengali report is quite interesting. I have to read out. 1979 সালে মানব জমিন উপন্যাসের জন্য একাডেমি পুরস্কার পাওয়া সাহিত্যিক শীর্ষেন্দু মুখোপাধ্যায়ের কড়া অবস্থান, যে কোনো সুস্থ স্বাভাবিক মানুষ এর প্রতিবাদ করবেনই, এই ধরনের ঘটনা মানবতাকে লজ্জিত করে। তবে কে কিভাবে সেই ঘটনার প্রেক্ষিতে প্রতিক্রিয়া জানাবেন সেটা তাদের নিজস্ব ব্যাপার। শীর্ষেন্দু Mukhopadhyay, the most popular writer from Bengal, he said it is personal affair. Is it personal affair? When the country is dying, when the country is divided with religious partition, when the country is breaking up, when the citizens are bleeding, innocents have been killed without mercy, the humanity is bleeding, and when the elections have become fast, democracy reduced to fast, and civic rights, human rights have been suspended. It is Salwaj room all over. It is armed forces special power act all over beyond Kashmir and Manipur, and it is a military state. And you are saying that it is personal affair to protest or not to protest. It is a Hamlet saga, to be or not to be. Funny, Mr. Shishendu Mukhopadhyay, you write very funny stories. You do not deal with reality, you deal with the ghosts, with the thieves, and the other funny characters, and you have made caricatures very well, but you are not concerned with social realities. I pardon, I have to speak out. এ ব্যাপারে আমি এখনো কোনো সিদ্ধান্ত নেয়নি, শীর্ষেন্দু মুখোপাধ্যায় স্যার। 1984 সালে কালবেলার জন্য একাডেমি পাওয়া সাহিত্যিক সমরেশ মজুমদার আবার সরাসরি প্রতিবাদের ধরন নিয়ে প্রশ্ন তুলেছেন। এ তো চোরের উপর রাগ করে মাটিতে ভাত খাওয়া। যে ঘটনা দাবড়িতে ঘটেছে সেটা জঘন্য, তা নিয়ে সন্দেহ নেই, কিন্তু পুরস্কার ফিরিয়ে দিতে কি পারবেন তারা? সমরেশ মজুমদার is a writer. He is famous for his trilogy on Naxalite movement 70s, and he got Sahitya Academy for one of that trilogy. Another famous trilogy is Uttar Purush. Another I am forgetting the name, but these three books are very popular, and Bengali directors have opted for these stories to make their films. And he was writing about 70s, and he has nothing to do with 70s, and he says it is impossible to return the Sahitya Academy Awards. But other 15 scholars seem to be thinking quite different, and I hope that the Karaba would be joined by more scholars, more writers, more personalities from the field of art, culture and literature. Very soon you have to watch. Those who are on the sidelines, they would spring from the earth, from the sky, and would scream aloud, I protest. It is opportunism. It is sheer opportunism. Then they would be just defending their personal reputation, their reputation for resistance, which is a false saga, a myth. As it is a myth that Samresh Majumdar wrote all fiery works, and he has nothing to do with resistance, with protest, with the people's grievance, the plight of the masses, the plight of Indian democracy, Indian nation, the plight of humanity. He belongs to North Bengal, and he is as much linked to the Himalayas as I am. He is not pained with the bleeding Himalayas, the calamities in Himalayas. That is a contradiction. He said, এমন পুরস্কার তো কোন দল দেয় না. He is repeating the sanctity of Sahitya Academy Award, and he is voicing in the same tune as the Academy President says about autonomy and dignity. Same. He said, পুরস্কার প্রাপকদের তালিকা তৈরি করে একটি অরাজনৈতিক কমিটি যারা পুরস্কার ফেরত দিচ্ছেন তারা আবেগের বশে এসব করছেন. Those who return Academy Awards, they are passionate, they are impulsive. Mr. Samresh Majumdar, the eminent writer dealing with resistance, said, বাংলা সাহিত্যের আরো দুই মহারথী একাডেমি পুরস্কার প্রাপ্ত কবি শঙ্খ ঘোষ এবং সাহিত্যিক মহাশ্বেতা দেবীর সঙ্গে এদিন বারবার যোগাযোগ করার চেষ্টা করা হয়েছে নানা ক্ষেত্রে, যাদের শত প্রণোদিত হয়ে বিবৃতি দেওয়ার নজির আছে। এদিন মহাশ্বেতা দেবীকে দুটি ল্যান্ডলাইনের একটিও কাজ করেননি। শঙ্খবাবু বারবার ফোন করা হলো, রাত পর্যন্ত একজন জানিয়েছেন শঙ্খবাবু বাড়িতে নেই, সকালে ফোন করুন। শঙ্খ ঘোষ, the eminent poet known countrywide, and Mahasata Devi, our leader in our vision, who led Indian intelligentsia and who led Bengal in resistance, whom Mahasata Devi says, Jano Andoloner Janoni. My friend Kripasankar Chaube written a book, Maharanner Ma, dealing with Mahasata Devi's works. I expected Mahasata Devi to return Sahitya Academy Award. She has got Gyanpith Award, and she is alone. She is in solitude because her only son Nabarunda has left us. She could have returned. She might get Nobel Prize in future. She could have taken the initiative. She did not, and she is not available for comment. Shankho Ghosh has been the conscience of Bengal as well as the conscience of India. Shankho Ghosh is silent. But I have to read a letter from an Indian student who says, as Navarun Bhattacharya said, এই মৃত্যু পতাকা আমার দেশ নয়। Navarunda wrote this line just in 70s, and before 70s, even before the partition of India, the so-called independence of Indian geopolitics, the formation of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, our poet Rabindranath Tagore, who wrote the national anthem for both the countries, India as well as Bangladesh, Jano Gano Mano Adhinayako, and Amar Sonar Bangla, Ami Tomaye Bhalobasi. He wrote the famous poem, He Mor Durbaga Desh, যাদের করেছ অপমান, অপমানে হতে হবে তাহাদের সবার সমান. And the poem deals with the plight of the hungry masses in Bengal's famine, and which was transformed into the suffering, degeneration and plight of refugees during partition, during direct action in Kolkata, during the conspiracies, cabinet proposal, bargaining and partitioning of India. And that Holocaust continues. The poem is relevant. I posted this poem, the poster of the poem with each of my update on Indian conscience mobilization last night. This poem also deals with untouchability. He speaks about the hatred, and he says, this hatred will bring you down. It was Tagore, and he wrote these lines before the partition, and he might not know the consequences, but he had the vision. He had the philosophy. He was dealing with the realities, and our famous artist Somnath Horde, who is perhaps only artist who worked as a journalist of famine with his painting. He used painting for reporting of famine, and this poem is as far as those painting reportings. And Somnath Horde and Tagore represented Bengali intelligentsia. Kazi Nazrul Islam and Sukant Bhattacharya represented Bengali intelligentsia. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose led this geopolitics in its struggle for freedom and against fascism, against the resurrection of Hinduism. Mamata Banerjee has declassified those police recorded speech of Netaji. I have already posted it on my blogs, and just read it again and see the spirit, and that spirit is missing. That Bengali soul, that Bengali rebel soul is partition in itself. It is divided, vertically divided in CPIM and TMC, and Bengali intelligentsia cannot think beyond this partition, beyond their identities of partisan politics. I am ashamed as a Bengali because they don't recognize me a part of Bengali intelligentsia in a state of the despite the fact that I am working as a professional journalist and I am associated with Indian Express for 25 years, and I am based in Kolkata, and I am writing every day in Bengali, Hindi and English. They don't recognize as a Bengali because I belong to the world of refugees. I belong to the world inflated with refugee influx. They don't recognize me, but by birth I am Bengali. My mother tongue is Bengali. My forefathers belong to United Bengal in Jessore, the Naral, where Rabindranath had his jamidari, and those converted kith and kin are based in that area, that Narail area, because Rabindranath was a Pirali Brahman, untouchable Brahman, because his forefathers were in contact of beef. This is the greatest beef scandal before the partition, because his forefathers smelled beef in Nawab's Darbar, and they were the Darbaris in the Darbar, and they were outcasted by Hindutva, and the Tagore family had to transfer themselves to save their Hindutva, and they migrated to West Bengal, and they landed in Govindpur, one of the three villages which made Kolkata. Govindpur, Sutanati. We know Sutanati, and we know also Govindpur. It was Prince Dwarkanath Tagore who revived the family, who got the contract to build Fort William, and he had stakes in London Stock Exchange. Even then, Rabindranath Tagore was treated as untouchable. He was not allowed to go into Puri temple, and he was treated as untouchable, and he wrote poems against this untouchability in his Nadat, and he wrote that famous drama, the poetic drama Chandalika, against untouchability. Nobody speaks about this untouchability about Rabindranath Tagore. Nobody speaks about his letters from Russia, in which he has addressed the problem of untouchability, and he sounds and he echoes the voice of our Baba Sahab, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Nobody talks about that. And they represented the conscience of Bengal, that Bengal is silent. Maharashtra of Baba Sahab Ambedkar is silent. Karnataka of Girish Karnad is silent. And I am thus very, very happy for my Sikh brothers and my Punjabi family, because I am part of the family from my birth, as I was born a refugee, and Punjabis and Sikhs were also made refugees. They are as much as partition victim as I am, and I have to speak out. Every Indian citizen is now reduced to a partition victim, as Tagore warned that হে মোর দুর্ভাগা দেশ, যাদের করেছ অপমান, অপমানে হতে হবে তাহাদের সবার সবার। Refugee influx within the country, just because of economic reforms, just because of infinite displacement is greater than the refugee influx across the border. Every other Indian citizen is the victim of economic reforms. Every other Indian citizen is victim of the governance of fascism, of total privatization, total disinvestment, and total FDI Raj, Mafia Raj, Syndicate Raj, and the country has become a gas chamber, a death valley literally. And this student had written an open letter, and countercurrents.org has published, and that letter reads, "Must love everyone. If I find the constitution being misused, I shall be first to burn it." He quoted Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, father of Indian Constitution. I am Asla, 20-year-old, a postgraduate student in history. I have few things to tell this world. During our school days, we had history to study, learn. World's largest country, Russia, smallest country, Vatican, most populated country, China, all these we had by hearted then. Also, when asked about largest democracy in the world, we would enthusiastically write India. During school assemblies, the national anthem was being sung. Not just did we keep quiet, but also smacked the nearby friend on the head when he created the nuisance. Watching police and army in cinemas gave us goosebumps. In my school days, I had always dreamed with open eyes of becoming a collector and serving my India. However, I have something different to tell all of you. This is somewhere else's country now, not ours. Yes, that is what the people who rule us say. That is what we have experienced. This is a student who had lived in India for 21 years telling the world, this country is not mine. I don't intend to open bundles of history, just a few incidents that took place within the last week. A 50-year-old man was beaten to death by a mob in a place called Dadri, near to country's capital. His son was brutally attacked. Why was Muhammad Akhlaq beaten to death? Because he was a Muslim, and rumor mill started that he had consumed beef. Who had killed him? Followers of the Hindu powers ruling India. Yes, he stored mutton in his refrigerator, and it was rumored that what was stored was beef. And he was killed because he was a Muslim and he purposely ate beef. Oh, and then what did this country's government do? They sent the meat to forensic laboratory to confirm what it actually was, and even the ministers justified the murder. The Prime Minister seems busy and has nothing to say. The ruling party's ideological brains continue to convey in their stages and pages that anyone consuming beef would have to have the same fate. The second day after this cruel incident, a 90-year-old man was burned to death in Uttar Pradesh, in Indian state, burned to death alive. You must have heard the temples in India. He was a Dalit and he tried entering a temple as he was considered to be a lower caste. He entering temple would only make it impure. They burned him alive on the entrance. Again, the second day after this incident, in the same estate, a Dalit family was seen being stripped naked on the public road by the police, because according to the Hindu Varna system, they belongs to the lower caste. Same day, a 12-year-old Dalit student was severely beaten by a teacher for touching a plate meant for non-Dalits during the midday meal at his school. All this happened in this country within 6 days, and the response of those who rule India to this frightened humanity. However, the response is killed. They shot and killed Mr. M.M. Kalburgi, prominent writer and Kannada University Vice Chancellor, because he responded. The other day, renowned ghazal singer from Pakistan, Ghulam Ali, was prevented from singing in Mumbai by Shiv Sena. This was a concert to honor another renowned ghazal singer from India, Jagdish Singh, on his death anniversary. They jail people for years without a trial using horrific laws. There exist thousands of Muslims and Dalit youths in Indian jails. Sometimes the government may direct kill. They killed Israt Jahan, a Muslim lady, in a fake encounter, and they dealt with Afzal Guru by hanging him to death. It is difficult for a Muslim to own a home in the renowned city Mumbai. This is the country where a young Dalit man was killed because his ringtone praised Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, father of Indian Constitution. No, this land and country is not ours anymore. Thank you. Thank you. You have to bear my pain. You have to share my pain. You have to share the plight of Indian citizenship. Thank you, Indian people. Thank you, humanity. And please decide what is your politics party.